Oh my god, this is such a failure. It's such a complete failure. It's impossible to know where to start. An allegedly utilitarian focus undercut at every turn by emptiness and stupidity on a character level. These could all be but the dumbest movie kids I've ever seen. And let's not even talk about the adults. Is it really that hard to keep your damn mouth shut? Because you'll die. Really that hard of a rule. I mean, they made it as far as they did, so it's not a very trenchant commentary on how kids are never shutting up in our own reality anyway. Why is the old man yell right then and there, just to be a dick? How's the hearing aid just conveniently go off around the monsters? And how can't they determine its direction? Among other problems with the monsters, they are they're insanely inconsistent. Why can't she just go down the stairs again? Why does she want to? Fuck this. Every character is one note, and sometimes they have to share one, which is, cry about family. And for any alleged deaf representation, is this supposed to somehow validate deafness by having her hearing aid fuck up in a nonsensical but admittedly empowering way, or actually dehumanize the ability not to speak as it does for the characters with hearing? It also seems incredibly boring to have only have the deaf actor be deaf, which isn't helped by its ultimate confusion and pointlessness. The camera will drift constantly instead of deciding it should, I don't know, maybe try to frame a shot, I suppose, for celerity's sake. It isn't spatially coherent either as a result of this, and there's just bad editing overall, which is pretty crucial in a film where visuals are meant to carry the bulk of the narrative. It usually moves along a single steady path at a moderate pace, crippling the tactility of the plastics, and I suppose adding more of a fairy tale, which the simplicity would corroborate. But as The Shape of Water proved, a fairy tale dreaminess, doubt-filled tone, doesn't work if you fail verisimilitude underneath. It just cheapens the aesthetic. The film's total aesthetic is somewhere between a sickeningly slick modern digital black faux candlelight horror and indie beard rustic to create a formal technological discoherence that recalls Interstellar, a film that was, unlike this one, formally interested in that through its celluloid CGI tensions. This just demonstrates aesthetic conformities, ironic incoherence when not given proper executive focus by a real director. The film's alleged formal invention is reduced by atrocious sound design at every level, only for, just to have no dialogue, and only most of the time, which Krasinski needs to simplify to the point not of bare plot essentials, not only bare plot essentials, but of stripping character entirely to just keep it in. Its lachrymose, wall-to-wall acoustic plucking score alone kills the whole premise by being far more heavy-handed than the dialogue itself could ever be, and ends up being anyway. But not only do we have plenty of dialogue, ASL and English, we also retain and even amplify every other diegetic noise. But of course, we also have the requisite orchestral thumps for every jump scare, which you'd think this film would somehow interrogate, but its own premise is just, again, contradicted by this uncreativity. The score also does this little descending two-note bass riff after every one of them like a fucking joke. And not only is it cripplingly inventive and detrimental to its narrative, it can't even keep its levels straight. There is so much stuff I could swear that a creature would hear that they never do. Particularly Krasinski's footsteps as he runs near the end, so its idiocy extends from content into form. Maybe I want too much from the film. to have stuck to its concept. It advertises in proximity, and perhaps it plays better in the immediate. Well, if that were true, its narrative, which it clearly wants to be read with unwavering coherence to its emphasis on world building, would have to actually be coherent in the immediate, which it never is. Shit just fucking happens for no reason throughout this film that is supposed to be so steadfast to the show don't tell method of plot momentum. Essential humanity is substituted for maudlin and stock formalism in a film clearly more focused on content than form anyway, that still can't remain coherent to itself, as I repeated. Politically, anything it's attempting besides employment for a deaf actress and inclusion of her deaf character is a total rhetoric clusterfuck, thanks to Krasinski's complete lack of tonal command. Emotionally, it is overbearing, even uninflected by its ridiculous execution. Just fucked up in every which way, and none even pointedly enough for there to be even a corrupted point. Besides, maybe, how much can we dilute a high concept before it becomes common? I mean, I guess it's quiet sometimes. If the most you can say for your film is it comes close to half living up to its most absolute basic promise, then I'm sorry, but you don't get any stars from me. And that's not even. It's just bad. It's just real bad. Just jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. Please let these monsters take me before I have to endure another fucking jump scare. A Quiet Place is basically begging to be awarded the top spot for the most lackluster horror film in recent years. Film tracks from boring to absolutely corny and insulting. It shows moments of melodrama and asks its viewers to suspend disbelief and not to nitpick the fuck out of the awful and frankly absurd decisions this family makes time and time again. This movie wants so badly to be something other than this. It could have benefited greatly from a lack of score and taking the silent approach seriously. It could have built tension by slowing down the pace, building a more claustrophobic atmosphere, and giving the characters higher stakes. Development and story progression were weakened in this film to the point where everyone involved became unlikable, and hoping for any other outcome other than death slipped away from grasp. And now I will get into I fucking hate this movie. Why are the monsters so fucking inconsistent? How the fuck did the family not all get clapped when the kid turned on the spaceship at the beginning? Surely they're all within earshot of the monster, considering they can expand their fucking heads to hear even better. How did it not hear the assumed panic breathing and heartbeats of the rest of the family? Why was the girl such a fucking pain in the ass? Just listen to your dad or fucking die. Why did, after Emily Blunt gave birth, the monster just decide to trash the place? How can the monsters navigate in a given space? If it's sonar or some other sound-based detection like a bat, how could it not sense anyone when it is within close proximity? Why are they here? What are their powers? One theory is that the monsters are so sensitive to sound that they find it harmful, and therefore that's why they attack any source of sound. But if that's the case, why did the monsters not just go to the waterfall and start beating the fuck out of it? However, on the other hand, if sound attracts them, why do the monsters not, I don't know, congregate around loud sources of sound, such as the waterfall? We literally saw that they have the ability to detect something like the fucking ticking of an egg timer. Why can they not hear heartbeats and breathing, etc.? When and why do the monsters expand their head and ear parts to hear more? And why is it only when Emily Blunt is in danger? Why are they not walking around in extra hearing mode? Why do they attack? What do they eat? Are they hunting for sport? Or is it some retarded metaphor I'm not understanding? I fucking hate this movie. Having only seen the first and hating it so much, I'm not seeing the second, even if it does answer the questions. As it stands, I hate this movie, and it's terribly poorly designed, inconsistent monsters. It's fucking terrible. I'm so sad only 2 members of the family died. I hated every one of them and was rooting for them all to fucking get eaten. Just terrible. Bye now.